Welcome to the Nebraska Prep Zone podcast. I'm Stu Pospisil. Mike Patterson's just back from a windblown day at Werner Park.
Very cold.
That's your issue, not mine.
Very cold, very windy, but yes, I survived and I'm here today.
Well, Storm Chasers are underway and they're just starting the season. You're coming up on mid-season with baseball. What's new?
Right. One thing I did want to mention about Storm Chasers, Stu, Jackson Reitz, who used to play at Norris, was starting today as catcher for the Storm Chasers.
Didn't he have a dinger the other day?
I think he did.
One of their big wins. So, they started well.
Yep. So best of luck to Jackson and the Storm Chasers this season. So, but getting back to high school baseball, the big story, Millard West still undefeated. Defeated Westside last night, so they are now 13-0, and they will be heading into their Millard West Invitational this weekend.
Okay.
So Coach Steve Fry's squad really riding high right now.
Who's their top competition in that field?
Well, Papio South was undefeated going into this week. They were 8-0, but they were defeated. So Papio South, Bellevue West, Millard South, kind of slight level below Millard West right now, but the Wildcats showing the way.
Before we go further, how was that game? You were at Werner Park today. You were also the Saturday game between the Papillions. How was that?
Right. The annual Papio South game out at Werner Park. Always fun game for both those schools. It's nice that Werner Park opens it up for them. It's kind of a cold opening before the Storm Chasers play.
Sometimes more literally than not.
Yeah, it was kind of a cold opening again Saturday, but Papio South prevailed 8-7. The Monarchs played a good game. They had the lead a couple of times, but Bill Lynam's squad prevailed. So the Titans are off to a really good start this season.
Okay. What changes did you make in your ratings this week?
Well, one team I wrote about this week, Stu, was Gretna. And it's kind of interesting with the eventual opening of Gretna East next in the fall. That's going to change the dynamic of a lot of sports out there at Gretna High, obviously. So Coach Jake Wolf talked about the Dragons this season and how they're concentrating on this season, and he knows it's going to be different next year. He will be staying at Gretna High.
Okay.
Mike Hagee, former Mount Michael coach, will be the head coach at Gretna East. He's now an assistant at Omaha Westview for Scott Hodges. But Gretna was one of the big movers in the top 10 this week. They were riding a 5-game win streak, so they cracked the ratings at number 6. But let's run down our overall top 10.
Go right ahead.
Number 1, obviously, Millard West. Number 2, Papio South. Number 3, Bellevue West. Number 4, Millard South. Number 5, Elkhorn South. They move up a couple of spots after a little bit of a rocky start. Number 6, Gretna, we mentioned them. Number 7, the Islanders of Grand Island check in.
First time this season? Or?
Yes, first time. Number 8, Lincoln East. Number 9, Lincoln Southeast, also a newcomer to the overall top 10. And number 10, Westside. We mentioned they lost last night to Millard West, but no shame in that. It was a competitive game, but the Warriors check into the ratings for the first time this season.
Okay. How about in Class B and Class C? Who's your top teams?
Class B, we have a new number 1 for the third week. Started out Elkhorn North, then it was Omaha Gross, and now it's Omaha Scott. The Skyhawks move up after Gross was defeated by Roncalli.
Okay.
Past Saturday, so that knocked the Cougars down. But the Skyhawks take over number 1. They entered this week at 5-2, and Class C still riding high as Malcolm have not lost yet. I think Millard West and Malcolm and maybe one other school that's only played a couple of games are the only undefeated teams left. The Clippers just still riding high in the new Class C this year.
Yes.
So yes, they are the definite number 1 right now.
Okay, besides Millard West Invitational, what's coming up on the weekend and maybe into next week?
Well, the Millard West Invite's really the big one. Several ranked teams. That'll be Thursday through Saturday out at Millard West, and actually the forecast sounds pretty good, so that's a positive. Lincoln Southeast, Like I said, they just cracked the ratings. They'll be playing at Bellevue West on Saturday. The Thunderbirds will be playing Elkhorn North, defending Class B champion on Friday. And that's pretty much it for the rest of this week. Coming up, we'll have a few more invitationals. We'll have the Metro Conference tournament coming up, the HAC tournament, the Eastern Midlands, and River Cities, et cetera, et cetera. So as we not quite to the halfway point of the season, just a few weeks in, but yeah, next big one really will be the Metro Conference.
Okay. Well, speaking of the Metro Conference, the league's soccer tournament is this week, Mike, and we've got the brackets out. Number one in boys is Millard South, and number one in girls is Gretna, and the first round games for the 16 survivors after the playing games are Thursday. Then they go Friday with quarters, Saturday with semifinals, and then South Collin Stadium Monday night. The girls final, I believe, is at 5 or 5:30. It's cut off on this bracket here, but the boys is at 7:30. So, the way it looks, it could be, Millard South, Gretna in the boys, Gretna, Marion, top two seeds in the girls. Soccer's a little different than baseball because you don't have the pitching situation, and weather looks good again. So in fact, from what I saw, most of next week looks good. So we do need rain.
Yeah, Nick could speak more to this, but Millard South, is that a little bit of a surprise? Because I just think of Gretna boys, Gretna girls.
It has been, and again, they base it off the PowerPoints, and so Omaha Creighton Prep's a 7 seed, but I would say that's a dangerous spot. Gretna's saying that the 2 seed Friday night's game probably at Gretna would be one that certainly the Dragons cannot overlook.
Yeah, the Junior Jays, we mentioned them was it last week when they lost their first couple matches, and then they defeated Westside, and maybe
to avoid 0-4.
Right, maybe they're back on the right track now. But like you said, as a number 7 seed, that's a very dangerous spot for whoever they're going to be playing.
Definitely. Well, in track season, we're going to have charts out on Sunday, maybe have them online sooner than that, Mike. But we've got among the invitationals this week. Grand Island it's at the new stadium, or renovated stadium out there. Millard South is Friday. If you're going to that, enter on the east side because, as we've alluded to several times now, they're getting a new press box and concessions on the west side, so everything's coming in from the east side for that meet. And then the alma mater Benson Invitational is also Friday before Holy Week kicks in. So
I'm hoping they're working 24/7 on that press box, but progress is moving on. When I was out there about a week ago, and we both know it's overdue, and props to everybody who was responsible for raising the funds and getting that done.
Well, and Burke's scoreboard is down. The old one that had been at Rosenblatt, they're getting ready to put in the new one. Keep our fingers crossed that's ready for Metro Track, which is about 4 weeks away.
Wow.
And, it's coming to a crashing end, isn't it, bud?
Spring, I'll tell you, once you get past that basketball season, spring just seems to really race past. So coming almost, not quite, but almost to the end of another athletic season on the high school ranks.
It's amazing, but we'll be here to keep you informed of all the developments. And so for Mike Patterson, I'm Stu Pospisil. We'll see you the next time on the Nebraska Prep Zone podcast.